Shabbat Shalom. Can you hear me well? Well, after our worship team, I have a great desire not to preach, but to sing. That would be interesting. We're going to have a strange beginning. Once there was a boy. He was about 10 years old. And he had a strange life. This boy was special. He was different than other boys. And this boy was always asking difficult questions to everybody. Many laughed at him or mocked him. Can you imagine such a boy? Many children, being at the same age, did not understand him, but were laughing at him, and they sent him away. And the parents, who worked quite a lot, they did not have time in order to follow after all these questions their son had. There was only one person, an elderly man from the house next door. He always sat on the bench in the sun. And he could listen actually to anything and everything from this boy. And for this boy, this was a great discovery, because this elderly man never laughed at him or laughed about him. And the boy was mad or angry about the other children, the other boys that laughed about him. They did not take him seriously, this young boy. Sometimes he even cried. But he could not change anything. And the soul of this boy suffered from this unrighteousness. Once he got courageous, and he told this elderly man something, this man who was next door, and he told him everything. The most important thing he told him was that he did not understand how to continue living. He said that he is dreaming of growing up very quickly and becoming quite strong. I want to become smart, and I want to deliver myself from being laughed at and from being mocked. And after he told it, the elderly man embraced the boy and he had compassion. And he smiled. And it was the first time that an adult smiled at him. He briefly thought about it, and then he replied to the story of the boy. Do you know what I want to tell you? He said to the boy, people say that there is a person who is wandering around, and behind him are following his disciples and different nations. And they say about this person that he is the wisest of the wise men, the wisest of the wise men. And he continued saying, telling him, ask the people about this man and maybe you're going to meet him. And in this way, this young boy got hope that there is something he could do. And from this time on, he always asked people that he met. So in him there was hope. Perhaps someone of these people would know where this wise man is living. Some people wanted to help him, and they asked as well others, but many as well did laugh. Oh boy, they said, what do you imagine that a wise man would speak with a boy? There is not such like that. Give up your childish hope. Such is not known, so therefore give up your naive, childish hope. He didn't want to listen to such people, and he continued asking always this same question. And one day, in the shadow of some trees, he saw many people walking by, and he asked this group of people about this strange or this mysterious wise man. And all of a sudden he got the answer that this wise man he is looking for is Yeshua from Nazareth. And they continued saying that they have even met him or they saw him. And more than that, he even gave the eyesight to a person. And this man who could see again, he was born from birth. And this boy had never heard such a thing, and he looked with admiring at these people when he heard that this man had given back the eyesight to a person. And this person said to the boy, "For sure, one day you will meet this wise man." And the boy even was afraid about that. He was afraid to cry, to weep. He wanted so much to meet with this wise man, to meet with Yeshua. But the boy could not allow himself to cry or to weep. Soon he was to turn 13 years of age, but men do not cry. And 2 days later they went to the sea, and on the mountain there was a big crowd of people. And they were all showing to a steep cliff. It was quite loud. And a woman was pointing to the cliff. There he is. There is Yeshua. And the boy became dizzy. And surprisingly for himself, he got up and he ran towards where everybody was pointing to. And he was in the midst of the crowd. Nevertheless, he was running with all his force. And he clearly heard that someone said, "Take this boy away. Who does this boy belong to?" But he was running faster and faster and was focused not to fall down. And all of a sudden, above the crowd, there was this other voice heard. "Let the children come unto me, because theirs is the kingdom. Theirs is the kingdom." And the strong hands of the disciples of Yeshua, they led this young boy through the crowd to Yeshua. And the boy couldn't almost breathe. He was ashamed because he is almost a man. But he did not have any more strength, and he started crying, weeping. Yeshua took the boy in his arms and he pressed him towards him. The boy even noticed the smell of the clothing. He swallowed his bitter tears and was cleaving unto Yeshua. And he had such intense feelings that he thought he could stay forever in the arms of Yeshua. And the boy heard the words of Yeshua. Do not fear anything. I know you. I will be with you everywhere and forever. The both of us, you and me, we are close people. You have been delivered from all your fears right now. Do not fear anymore. The love of my Father has united us, so now you don't need to be afraid of anything. There is a word that we often say, and we see it quite often in the Gospels. And for us it is an important word, an important saying. And this word is truth. When we begin thinking, then we understand that we are living forever, that we will not die. When we succeed, or if we succeed in getting united with God, if we succeed to unite with Jesus, with Yeshua, when we will never forget this expression, follow after me. When we take heed, that we see, that we hear, that we listen, that we feel, and that we understand all of that, that we understand all that we feel, that we understand everything that is going on around us, when we understand that a great amount of love is dissolved up there in heaven, everything that Yeshua says and what he teaches, all of that the disciples tried to pass on unto us. This is our way leading to truth, for our new birth from above. Why do we say getting born again from above? Because there reigns, or heavenly love reigns. The boy was lucky, he was really lucky, because from his childhood he was searching for truth. He had many questions. But in his life there was nobody who actually answered him his questions or was concerned about his questions. Nobody recognized that this boy was blessed from childhood on, that he found something that adults could not find. But perhaps he himself was found. Perhaps that which did not give him peace on the inside, maybe his tears reached up into heaven. And he was helped by understanding what truth is. In the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 32. John 8, 32. There is a short sentence. And there are these short verses. And you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. And we also read in the Gospel of John, in chapter 18, verses 37 to 38. Therefore Pilate said to him, "So you are a king?" Yeshua answered, "You say correctly that I am a king. For this I have been born, and for this I have come into the world to testify to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice." And this wise Pilate, who was well educated, asked him, "What is truth?" And look carefully at these words, smell them, read them again, read them over again. Is it not just this, what all of us, that we all lack the truth, to recognize the truth? Who is the one who is up there, and who am I here? And how should I be while being here? And the one who is determining everything, he is up there. So we want to know, what was it that Pilate was looking for? What did he label with this term truth?
Und noch etwas,
and
was
something
als
else,
Wahrheit bezeichnet wurde.
which is
Wir lesen
declared to
bei
be
Paulus
truth.
im Römerbrief,
We read
13, Verse
in
8.
Paul, Romans 13, verse 8,
Erstaunliche Verse. Wir haben sie gelesen.
remarkable verses that we have read, and we read them
Не
again.
оставайтесь должными никому, ничем, кроме взаимной любви. Ибо любящий другого исполнил закон. Итак, я еще раз прочитаю. Не оставайтесь должными никому, ничем. Забудь, что ты должен. Не будь должником. Не оставайтесь должником никому, ничем, кроме взаимной любви. Это самое дорогое в твоей жизни. Возвращай эту любовь. Ибо любящий другого исполнил закон.
Seid niemand irgendetwas schuldig.
Owe nothing to anyone except to love one another.
И это то, что мы сейчас прочитали, это часть истины, может быть, большая часть истины. Это та часть истины, которая не выполняется.
Und das, was wir gerade gelesen haben, das ist
That
ein
we
Teil
just
der Wahrheit.
read is part of this
Значит,
truth.
кто, тогда возникает вопрос, кто же тогда исполняет закон? Значит, вообще невозможно исполнить закон, потому что любовь среди людей. Так, как бы между прочим, мы не знаем ей цены.
Dann fragt sich, wer überhaupt erfüllt
Then
das Gesetz.
there is the question, who is fulfilling the law?
Das ist etwas, was
Because
wir nebenbei machen.
Love
Und,
is
es
something
gibt-
that
also
we
sie ist irgendwie
do
wertlos.
just by passing by. It's not really
Gibt es
valuable.
noch eine Sache?
Еще
And then
часть
there is another
истины.
thing,
Ein weiterer Teil der Wahrheit.
Представьте
another
себе
part
слово
of the
«ненависть».
truth.
Stellt euch das Wort Hass vor
Imagine
Еще одно
the
слово
word hate
«непрощение».
und noch ein Wort
and another word,
Непрощение.
also nicht Vergebung,
И простое
Meaning,
слово
like
«прощение».
not to forgive,
einfach nur Wort
non-forgiveness, and then the more simple
Эта
word
вещь
forgiveness.
руководит нашей жизнью.
Und diese Sache lenkt unser Leben.
Вот
And
эти
this
вещи, вот эта истина
thing determines
руководит нашим
our
здоровьем.
life.
Diese Sachen, diese Wahrheit, sie herrscht
These
über unsere
things,
Gesundheit.
this truth
Вот
is
эта вещь
reigning
разрешает нам
over
уйти
our
от
health.
зла.
Diese Sache ermöglicht es uns,
This
uns von dem Bösen
thing
zu entfernen.
allows us
Вспомните из вашей
to
жизни,
go
у каждого-
away from
у каждого
evil.
это есть непрощение.
Jeder kennt es aus seinem eigenen Leben.
Everyone knows this from his or her own life,
Die Nichtvergebung
not to forgive,
oder für das ganze Leben.
Или на одну неделю,
not to forgive for
Woche.
the whole life or just for a week,
Und meine Gesundheit und mein Verhalten
and my
и мое
health
знание,
and
что прощать
my
надо
behavior
und mein Wissen, dass
and
ich jeden
my
vergeben muss.
knowledge that I should forgive
Апостол
or that I have to forgive everyone.
спрашивает своего учителя Иешуа, а сколько надо прощать? Петр хотел это знать.
Und der Apostel fragt Jeschua,
And,
wie viel muss man denn vergeben? Er wollte
The apostle is asking Yeshua, how often do you
Он слышит
have to
фразу
forgive?
от учителя.
And right away we are back to
hört
truth.
von seinem Lehrer ein
He hears from his teacher a short sentence.
Это истина для каждого, кто здесь сидит.
Und diese Wahrheit gilt nicht nur für
And
Petrus,
this
sondern für
truth
jeden Einzelnen,
is
der hier
not just valid for Peter, but for each and everyone sitting here. And it is the truth for me, for my behavior,
meine Augen.
for
У меня
my
должен быть другой
eyes.
взгляд.
Ich brauche einen anderen Blick.
Когда
I
я вижу
need
людей,
a different
я должен
perspective.
чувствовать.
Wenn ich Menschen sehe, muss ich fühlen.
When I see people, I have to feel.
Ich habe,
Вы не виновны ни в чем. Я вас прощаю всех.
ich habe euch allen vergeben. Ihr seid an
I have
nichts schuldig.
forgiven all of you. You are not guilty in anything.
Вас.
Unabhängig von dem Ort, wo ich mich befinde.
No
ich
matter
vergebe euch
where
allen.
I am,
Я не
I
повторяю это как
forgive
попугай,
all
который
of you.
может повторять со мной какие-то слова.
Ich wiederhole es nicht wie ein Papagei, der
I
alles nachmachen kann.
don't repeat it like a parrot who is just repeating what he hears.
Нарушать. Потому что если мы не простили, значит забудьте о слове прощения к себе и забудьте слово любовь.
Denn es ist wichtig zu verstehen,
Because
dass
it is
wenn
important
ich nicht vergebe,
to understand
kann
that if
ich
I
Vergebung
do
für
not
mich
forgive,
vergessen. Ich
then I can
genauso
forget about
genauso
forgiveness for myself, and I can
Еще
forget as well
одна истина
the word
Und
love.
noch eine weitere Wahrheit.
от учителя.
And another truth
Очень
from
интересно,
the
попробуйте
teacher.
запомнить это.
Versucht es euch zu merken. Das ist ein
Try to remember, because this is an important point.
ein sehr interessanter, spannender Vers.
A very interesting verse.
Прощенные могут только прощать, и ничего больше добавить они не могут.
Diejenigen, denen vergeben wurde, sie können
Those
nur
who
vergeben
are
und nichts
forgiven,
anderes. Also
they
dem
can
ist nichts
only
hinzuzufügen.
forgive, nothing else, and you cannot add anything
Für mich
to
war
it.
das wie ein Bombeneinschlag.
For me, this was like as if a bomb had exploded. Do you understand this sentence?
Allen vergeben.
All of us, we have been forgiven.
Wir können nicht das tun, was wir machen.
We cannot do
Der
what
kleine
we
Junge
want or what we are doing. This little boy was crying.
hat sich Sorgen gemacht.
He was worried.
Er ist gerannt.
He ran.
Er hat gesucht.
He was searching.
Und dann kam die Zeit
And then the time came
und der Junge wurde erwachsen.
and the boy became an adult.
Его сердце, его жизнь требовала истины. Почему он вдруг захотел это знать, то, что взрослые не хотят знать?
Warum wollte er das wissen oder herausfinden?
Why did he
was die
wanted
Erwachsenen
to
nicht
know
wollen?
and find out what many adults do not want to know?
Еще раз, 8:32 мы читаем, Иоанн.
Wir lesen wieder Johannes
We read
Evangelium,
again in the Gospel of John, chapter 8.
8:32.
Kapitel 8, Vers 32.
Chapter 8, verse 32.
Простая вещь, мы много раз читаем.
Ein einfacher Satz, den wir oft gelesen haben.
A simple sentence that we have often read, and this is what the teacher is saying,
Der den kleinen Jungen in seinem Herzen hatte, an seinem Herzen.
who had this young boy at his very heart.
Познаете истину, и истина сделает вас свободными.
Und ihr werdet die Wahrheit erkennen.
And you will know the
Wahrheit
truth,
wird euch frei machen.
and the truth will make you free.
100 раз повторяю.
We have read this 100 times, repeated it 100 times. And where is
В
the
каком месте
result?
нашего сердца?
An welcher Stelle in unserem Herzen?
В каких наших поступках?
At which place of our heart,
Это ведь
in which
это
deeds?
истина.
Denn das ist das Gesetz, das ist die Wahrheit.
Because this is the law, this is the truth.
Без последствий всяких.
Diejenigen, denen vergeben wurde, sind
Those who
dazu
have
berufen,
been
zu
forgiven
vergeben.
are called to forgive.
Петр понял и взял это в себя, что придется Петру прощать всю жизнь. Всю жизнь, пока он жив.
Petrus hat das aufgenommen und verstanden,
Peter
dass er sein Leben lang
took
vergeben
this
muss.
and he understood that he has to forgive as long as he is living.
И вот я подумал, на чем остановиться?
Und
And now I'm coming to the end, and I was thinking, oh, okay, where could we stop? This boy who was walking around, torturing everyone with his questions. And now we go and see the adults who know much more, who suffered much more, who saw many more tears, who basically have been burned.
Und wir kennen diesen Satz, vergib ihnen, denn sie wissen nicht, was sie tun. Und da sagt der
And we know this sentence, forgive them because they don't know what they are doing. And this is the teacher saying, and this is one of the most important aspects of truth. And how can we take all of this into us, not just for a day, but that it will remain in our most inner being, so that we will not even be able to take it away. So I can say the following words. I stop to carry any inquietness within me. And I give up every desire to punish anybody. And to give this to Yeshua, and to be aware that Yeshua is going to say everything will be all right. I stop being mad or angry with anybody or at anybody. All evil thoughts, bad thoughts, I have to replace by good thoughts. In my inner part, I have to carry peace and harmony. Thank you. I have almost come to the end. If I succeed in doing so, then this teaching will be made alive, but with what?
Итак, я замещаю в себе плохие мысли на хорошие. Я должен взрастить здесь ощущение мира и гармонии. Кто проиграет, все выиграют. Обязательно. А шутки это не для нас.
We have to take heed to replace evil in us by good things. The whole place has to be filled with love.
Существует как законсервированная вещь. И в мечтах больше никак.
With many people, it is
Нормальное
that
состояние
love
человека, мое
is
или
like
ваше,
in a
должно становиться
canned
нормой
situation
жизни,
or a
прощения.
canned state,
Прощение становится
like
нормой
canned
моей
food.
жизни.
Und die Norm für mein Leben muss
And
die
the
Vergebung
normative
sein.
for my life has to be forgiveness.
Этот
This
мальчик,
has to be the normative
быстро
for my
разобрался.
life.
Dieser Junge hat schnell die Wahrheit entdeckt.
This
Он
boy
научился
discovered
видеть
quite
своих
rapidly the truth.
приятелей, которые смеялись над ним. Видеть их, как он видел Иешуа.
Es ist ihm gelungen,
He
die Kinder in
succeeded
seiner Umgebung zu sehen, die über ihn gelacht haben.
Он пережил
in
на его
seeing
руках
the other children, the
совершенно
other people
колоссальное
in his
количество любви
environment
прямо с небес
who were laughing
через
at
руки
him.
этого человека.
Durch Jeschua in
And
seiner Nähe hat eine
through
große Liebe
being
erfahren.
near to Yeshua,
Пережил,
he
находясь в руках
experienced
Господа.
a deep
Hat
love.
diese Liebe erlebt, indem
He experienced
И
this
это
love
очень
by being
серьезно.
in his hands.
sehr ernst.
А потом вспомним
And this is very
наших
serious.
близких родственников.
Und lasst uns an unsere engen Verwandten denken.
And
Сколько же
let
мы
us
можем для
remember
них
our
сделать?
close
Wie viel
relatives.
können wir für sie tun,
Если они
How
будут
much can
чувствовать
we
от
do for
нас
them
любовь.
wenn sie von uns die Liebe spüren?
when
Любовь,
they
когда находится
feel our love?
в каком-то дозированном состоянии, она умирает.
Liebe, wenn sie in einem dosierten Zustand sich befindet, dann stirbt sie.
Прощение
Love, if it is
становится
only
нормой
a portion of it, then it will die.
Die Norm für mein Leben.
Forgiveness will be the normative for my life. Amen.